Sure. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tiffany, and I'm the NFT marketing lead here at Avalanche. So excited to co host this space and introduce this partnership with Loco to our Avalanche ecosystem. So, for those who don't know, Loco is the leading esports and live streaming platform in India with over 55 million registered users. And today we're here to deep dive into why Loco chose Avalanche and learn about the new subnet that is launching. So, it's been such a pleasure to meet the Loco team. I think it was at Korea Blockchain Week that I first learned about Loco, and amazing to be able to work closely with them over the past few months in preparation for this launch. So shout out to Prasad, Joaneska, and Parth, and Karhan, who's been working super late at night to sync with us every week. So shout out to them.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the quick intro there. I think we're still waiting for Anirudh to jump in, so uh, I will reach out. But yeah, we'll get things going. Thanks everyone for joining. Really excited to jump into this discussion today. Anything else you wanted to share? Just kind of top line stuff around the partnership that people can be looking out for.
Yeah, I think I'll give that to Dominic since he's been working on that day one with all the partners.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, I was just saying if there's anything that you're just particularly excited about, just kind of top line as we kind of wait for Anirudh to jump in.
Like excited about with the Loco announcement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one is just going to be the actual launch of the subnet, which should be very exciting. And two, I mean, I don't know how much we can actually say. So, but I will say like the launch of the subnet, hopefully some of the incentives we have around it for multiverse should be really exciting once this kind of go live. I see the Loco account is in here.
Yep, adding it up now.
As well as the Legends account.
Cool, adding them up too. Let's get this going.
Hey guys, good to be here. How are you guys doing?
Doing amazing. Thanks for joining us. So, looks like we got our speaker up, and I'll be adding the local accounts up as well. But yeah, I think we can kick things off now, and really excited that we have more listeners jumping in here. So, Tiff, I'll let you kind of take it away to start things off, but it'd be great to do a quick round of intros for everybody else that's joining us. So if you want to go through a round of intros and then get things started, that'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. Let's start with Dom.
Yeah. So how's it going? My name's Dominic. I head up the NFT vertical here. Really excited to be working with Anirudh and the rest of the team at Loco, and excited to kind of explore the project more and ask some questions here and introduce our community to the Loco team.
Sure, should we go with Ed, then Garrison?
Hey all, I'm Ed. I am the head of gaming here at Ava Labs. I've worked very closely with Dom and his team. Also met Anirudh and team for the first time at Korea Blockchain Week, and was very excited about the potential and obviously stoked about this announcement.
Hey everyone, my name is Garrison. I'm the head of growth at Ava Labs. And yeah, we've been tracking this Loco announcement for a long time and incredibly excited about this partnership.
Yeah, and Anirudh, you can do the honors. I just did a brief introduction of Loco before you came here, but wanted you to do a proper introduction to you, Loco, and Loco Legends.
Sure. Thanks, guys. Excited to meet everyone again after Korea. Loco, as a lot of you guys know, is India's largest game streaming platform. And we've really been at the forefront of building the gaming ecosystem in India. I think when we started, there was no real Indian gaming, game streaming platform. We built that. We built a huge community of viewers as well as streamers, and we've really built the esports franchises and content in India from scratch. We are the platform where gamers go from being beginners to being superstars. We're also the platform that where fan experiences are turbocharged. So I think we really underlined how gaming can be built in a country like India, and we were very excited to see the stories that come out of this and the great athletes and entertainment that comes out of it as well. Of course, in terms of scale, we've seen huge growth in the last couple of years. We've gone from being, as we say internally, we've gone from being a niche platform to being a national obsession. So it's been a great journey. And then, when we think about where gaming is going next and what the blockchain technology really enables for gaming is that fans can no longer, it's no longer enough for fans to just be on the sidelines. We want them to be in the action, understanding and interacting with each other as well as the streamers they love and like and the games they love and like in a much more deeper way. And so that's what blockchain allows us to do and build. And Legends is one of the first projects we'll take on that, and there'll be other projects as well as features we'll build in Loco, which enable fans to really get and own a piece of the game or a piece of fandom that they couldn't do earlier. So very excited, and of course, as we mentioned, even to the press, we're very happy with the way the partnership has gone so far with Avalanche, and we've all actually worked very hard over the last few months to A, build the products that we're going to release, and B, also in terms of partnerships, I think it's amazing what like-minded people with a similar mission and similar direction can actually do. So that's been great.
Yeah, amazing. Like Loco's values to allow fans to deepen their connection, create community is perfectly aligned here with us at Avalanche and FTN Gaming as well. So it was such a pleasure to collaborate with everyone on this. Let's move into like the origin of the partnership. Dom, Anirudh, how did the partnership come to be, and how did we get to the decision of choosing Avalanche?
Yeah, I can take that. I mean, I actually spoke at an event where Dr. Emin Gun was actually speaking as well, and I was really impressed by the amount of technical knowledge and thought being put into his responses. And when we were thinking of, what chain to go with, we already have a lot of users, so go to market for us is not the real issue. But we want to build the right technology solution and the right products that can actually scale. And we know that once we open up these products for our users to use, there's going to be, millions of users who will come and start using some of the stuff. So, hearing him speak, I felt, okay, this is the right, could be a right partnership for us to go down. And then, of course, once we got introduced more formally to all of you guys, including, led by Dom, it was phenomenal. I think the energy with which the Avalanche team worked was amazing, and it also resonated with us as Loco, who, for us, one of our core principles in our company is velocity and moving quickly, and we felt that level of support and rapid iteration and knowledge exchange was happening with the Avalanche team. And of course, I met a bunch of you guys in face to face in Korea during Blockchain Week, as someone was mentioning earlier, and again, the interaction just felt very organic. So we felt very comfortable with how this would play out. And I think, sometimes you do partnerships and things don't go the way you envisage. But in this case, I think while, the macros of the world or, some technology issues might come up from time to time, I think the way we've actually solved them quickly together and provided the right solutions and come up with it together, I think it's been amazing. So that's how it's come together, and I'm really excited to see and start releasing some of those products soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of covered it all. That was very well worded, Anirudh. It's been several months since we've been working together. I was introduced and super impressed with the Locos team, and their proposals, so detailed and just had a really clear idea of what they wanted to do. I think that was extremely correct, Anirudh, in speed and how fast you all move. I was also extremely surprised with that. So, it's been at least over 6 months, I think, at this point. So it's been exciting to kind of work with you all through that entire journey, and now we're here.
Yes, and velocity and moving quickly is definitely a value of Avalanche as well. Let's move on to the subnet. use case and why the subnet is perfectly positioned for Loco and Loco Legends. Let's have Garrison and Ed speak on this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last number I had heard was there's what 150 plus thousand people who are waiting to get on to local legends, right? So we anticipate a lot of transactions and supporting the local team there, and a subnet fits really well. You know, extremely low transaction fees. They can obfuscate the experience for the average Web2 user or fan of Loco or some of their streamers, and can all tie it pretty neatly together. And so, the engineering team at Loco has been extremely impressive in being able to spin this up, and they're doing some really cool things on the back end.
Awesome. Anything to add from Garrison's side, or Anirudh, do you have your perspective on why we decided to do a subnet and how that's going to empower fans in the long run?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, the fact that we have great compliance, we have the ability to later on do independent token, we can do private blockchain. It gets us, with Avalanche's help, we can get up and running quickly. All those become very interesting and important things for us, and we can write a bunch of our own logic into the execution of the network, right? So I think that makes it really interesting for us, and the fact that we can do that with lower latency and higher transactions, that's really important, especially in an environment where we expect high number of users and lots of transactions happening, right? So that, I think, is important, and especially for a market like India, where we don't want those costs to be very high, because then that actually decreases the number of users who can actually interact with the games, etc., that we're putting out. So for me, that was really important that we had support from a chain that actually understood these things, and could provide us with the right expertise in different different shapes and sizes in terms of where we want to be, whether it's with the security, whether it's with the logic. And I think so far we've seen, whether it's a very simple question that might seem like a basic question to someone who's more experienced in the blockchain world, or it's something that's actually technically very complex and at the cutting edge of what everybody's trying to build. I think on both sides we've seen the same level of excitement from the Ava team, which is great, because that gives our team a lot of assurance and help, like we feel at home. And then also on the obviously on the cutting edge side, you're obviously excited to be at some edge of something, to be at the forefront of something that's cutting edge.
With the growth happening so fast at Loco, and I'm assuming Loco Legend as well, can you give us some insight on goals or milestones that you hope to achieve in the upcoming months with this launch?
I think, look, the way we look at this is that it's an engagement layer first and foremost over what we're doing already. Right? Users today come in and view content, they chat with each other, they discuss which team is going to win, which streamer is going to do better. And so for us to come out with products that help them then compound on that, and whether they own NFTs or whether they participate in games where there are collectibles involved, I think that those become extremely useful for the fans. And we want them, for fans, it shouldn't matter to them whether we are using one blockchain or the other. The fan experience should be fun. The fan experience should be simple. That's what we are going for. And qualitatively, that's important for us, because as soon as you use some of these words, people get worried, right? Oh, what is an NFT? What is what is this blockchain? What are the three blockchains? We just want them to come in. Like, nobody asks what scaling algorithm or what mechanism we're using on AWS, right? We want it to be that seamless, where people just come, they use it as a normal game. And in terms of users, look, we have millions of users, as you know. And so for us, the aim is to go one step at a time. Start with the first 1,000, then go to the 100,000, then get to the million mark. And that's how we built Loco. And we expect Legends to do the same. And I think at each point, we we want to obviously focus first on India and then move to other geographies where we feel the product has legs and where we can provide both the viewing experience and then the playing experience. And that view and play loop is very important, both from a engagement level for fans, but also from a retention point of view for publishers, for streamers themselves. So I think there's a lot of exciting things that we're working on, and I feel one thing that's very important to me is that it's not a one thing and done kind of partnership. We are looking at this as a series of steps to provide multiple products and features to people, to users of Loco.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the growth in India is nothing short of amazing. We would love to get more insight there, because as India is an emerging significant market for cryptocurrencies with a lot of growing numbers of investors and businesses in the space, and at the same time streaming and esports has skyrocketed over the past few years. What is the current state of esports, streaming, and Web3 in India for those who are not as familiar? And why should the world be watching closely?
Well, look, India's been, many miracles have happened in India in the last 5-10 years, right? And I think from a internet perspective, you've seen internet costs decline significantly in India, and to the order of 1/100 in terms of how much costs have dropped for certain cohorts, and that means that there's a large number of people who've been able to come onto the internet, and because now the internet is cheap enough, they're playing lots of games. And to give you a sense, India has about 700-800 million internet users. 400 million of those consider themselves gamers. About 100 to 150 million of them play games like PUBG Mobile, or BGMI or Free Fire Max, these sort of games, right, which are battle royale games. And so that gives you a sense of which way we're going as a market. And these are the first two games that are broken out. Tomorrow, a role-playing game could easily break out. A version of a GTA could break out, right? So there's new games that are still, that have not been released. And so we're very hopeful that, in 4 or 5 years, we're not going to ask how many gamers are there in India. We're going to ask what kind of game do you play? Just like we do for shows on the internet today. Nobody's asking, do you watch a show? Everybody says, which show are you watching, or what season are you watching? What do you like? And I think we're going in the same way for users in India, and in terms of gaming. And for Loco itself, we have over 50 million registered users, and that's happened in the course of the last 2-3 years. So we've seen, just to give you a sense, in the summer of 22, we did a tournament which was the first esports tournament that was broadcasted on television, and Loco did the digital broadcast of that tournament. During that time, we did almost 100 million views just on Loco itself. And that tournament on television got better ratings than tennis, than some football matches, than many Formula One races. So it's becoming quickly, in India we say esports is now the second biggest sport after cricket, and that's a huge achievement given that we've literally only had 2 games, come out. So I think that's, we have a very, very huge opportunity as far as gaming is concerned. And one of the things that people don't quite appreciate is that gaming is the cheapest form of entertainment, right? When you look at a Netflix package that costs, $10-20 a month, BGMI or Free Fire Max, these were free to play. So it allows people to actually come onto the internet more easily, do something fun on the internet in an easy way. And we are a big, large country, and so in our country, a lot of people may not have the access to entertainment like you would in a big city. You may not even have a mall in your area. You may not have playgrounds. But this digital playground is something that equalizes and democratizes gaming in a significant way, and that's something that is also started happening in India today. We are seeing on whether it's in BGMI / what was called PUBG Mobile, some of the players are like in the top 10 in the world. FIFA, for example, we had for the FIFA Nations Cup, India sent a team for the first time. We haven't sent a team to the actual physical soccer World Cup in 2-3 decades, and the team played really well, and that broadcast was also on Loco, again did extremely well. So I think, there's a huge opportunity when you're looking at something which is, 700 million plus people and, an economy that is most economists or smart people in the financial world expect it to be the fastest growing large economy for quite some time to come. So I think that's something that is quite important. And we are looking at a large middle class that's growing. We are looking at per capita incomes that have doubled in the last 10 years. So lots of hopeful factors, and most people are young and they're under the age of 30. So they're looking for fun experiences, and they've been brought up in an environment where digital payments and digital entertainment is something that they've grown up on. So in terms of uh, go to market, in terms of their ability to adopt new goods, they are very forward looking.
Hey, Anirudh, I think for some of the audience that may be more familiar with like a Twitch or YouTube, can you share maybe some of the unique differentiators of Loco and what makes it, so powerful as a platform and how you work with the streamers and teams and tournaments?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think India is a pretty neglected market as far as esports or even game streaming is concerned. We don't really have any Twitch or any of these platforms that are active in India. In fact, something like Twitch is very desktop focused and very focused on some of these PC games, which in India is a some people say mobile first, we say mobile only country, right? The mobile gaming is huge in India, compared like 10 to 1 compared to consoles or PCs. So mobile gaming communities, whether it's for something like a PUBG Mobile or Free Fire, is huge in India. Even something like a small game like a Ludo, which is a hyper casual game, gets has huge audience in India and huge number of players. So I think mobile gaming is something that we've really concentrated on. We made it really easy for someone to stream, whether they're a amateur streamer. People go from being amateurs with one-click streaming from their phone on Loco all the way to large streamers. We've built, on our app, there is a Discover tab, which is essentially only for new streamers. So we've seen a slew of new streamers who've become essentially were hobbyists who've now created businesses streaming on Loco, right? There are many examples of people who started streaming on their phone and then over time have started streaming, become famous, gotten discovered, and then now they're basically running, a small esports team or a clan or a esports content company where there are 10, 20 people, right? And they're doing extremely well. In terms of streamers, we have training programs, we have master classes for them to understand how to build for India, and we've kept live streaming as the focus on the product versus say something like a YouTube or other platforms which have gone shorter and shorter and shorter form in their perspective. So they're, from a product perspective, they've really hurt the gaming experience, because gaming, the main heart of gaming remains live, and other things rotate around it, like in the gaming solar system. So we've kept a strong focus on that, and then in terms of content and community, we have very strong community managers as well as deep links into the community that has helped the community through different ups and downs in the gaming ecosystem, and then allowed new communities to form and become large. We've supported a bunch of different publishers, whether it's established guys like Crafton or Pokemon, or some of the new up and coming studios to actually get to market, helping them with user acquisition as well as retention. So, on the community side, we've been very focused on figuring out what users want and helping them stay active. And then on the content side, we've sponsored the maximum number of tournaments in India. And in fact, before us, the number of tournaments that were getting done was much smaller. And we broadcast these tournaments. So, again, from a pop culture generation point of view, we've made shows, whether it's fiction, non-fiction, to help these stories, the human stories, come out and become more popular. So I think that that's something that's really critical, is to get that mix of product and tech, community and content right, and no other platform has really done that in India. And we're very lucky that our timing was good. Like, we launched at a time when gaming was just blowing up, and that's really helped us kind of service the needs that the users have.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you think that, what you said about that, the digital playground is like a great equalizer. And, Loco always being curious about the user and supporting content creators. And the insight into the India is super helpful into why this partnership is that much more significant. And I want to touch that, bring it back to our Avalanche team and explain a little bit why India is important for the Avalanche ecosystem and why this partnership is significant to Ava Labs' growth in the ecosystem as well. Maybe Dom, Garrison, or Ed, anyone can speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Anirudh touched upon some of the insane numbers that they hit at scale, right? For some of their tournaments, and I know for a country that loves cricket and other sports as much, like being able to beat that out with esports viewership is massive and mind blowing. And I think, from a gaming perspective, um, as we think about onboarding the next, massive base of Web2 gamers, tapping into that 3 billion gamer market, partnering with platforms like Loco to be able to bring some of our games and IP and streaming to market is going to be really exciting on a long term perspective. And the short to medium term is subnets are built for scaling, and we love to see use cases that really kind of push that adoption further, like projects like DeFi Kingdoms that are bringing millions of transactions. We feel very confident that Loco is going to do the same. And so these types of new use cases where it blends interactive streaming with video games, with a gamification of fantasy sports and NFTs, just ready made for some of the verticals that we're excited about. And so, yeah, couldn't be more excited to partner with Loco and see that brought to fruition.
Awesome. And then before we get into Q&As, wanted to just ask one last question. I think we touched about this a little bit, but Anirudh, are there any more details and functionality of the platform, Loco Legends, that you can share with us, and any more details of the roadmap there?
Yeah, I think look, our aim for Local Legends is essentially we know fantasy gaming works really well in India. There's a lot of demand for it. There's a lot of user understanding of how it works. What we want is to put users in the seat of scouts and esports team managers. And unlike normal fantasy, where in India, where you have to choose a team every game, and you lose the team that you've made, and you lose any advantage of spotting talent early. I think the fact that Loco already has tournaments from a very, very sort of small and novice level all the way to the biggest tournament. So I'm talking about tournaments where you could have a prize money of $100, $200, which is being done in a small college like environment, all the way to the most prestigious tournaments which are have millions of dollars of prize money. All of those are broadcast on Loco. So for us, the way we've envisaged this is, if people can actually spot talent early, they can actually invest in in buying the NFTs and cards of some of these streamers, and they can tomorrow, when they become huge, they'll actually see their asset value accrue to them. And the way I always think about this, as someone who's also built a content company in the past, is, if I'm a talent manager, how can I tell someone that I'm actually a good talent manager? Before, something like a Local Legends, you wouldn't be able to do that, because just basically rely on the word of someone. But today, you could actually show someone that in an esports team that, look, I caught the rise of some of these players very early. So from the point of view of someone who's as close to the action versus being in an esports team, just being able to kind of replicate that is something that most people are not able to do today, and that's what Legends will allow. And whether it's limited edition digital collectibles that you can use, and then over time, these collectibles will also be supplemented by collectibles that our exclusive creators, etc., will also create, right? So it adds a utility uh, to some of these cards, which are collectibles, but also have a utility in the games that we're creating. So and it of course creates a revenue stream for a lot of the creators, right? So it's a win-win for everybody involved, because as a platform on Loco, we provide our fans a new engagement activity. They can find new things to do. New tournaments will have new value and new meaning for people who are looking for their next bargain card to buy, to play in a fantasy. We'll have the ability for them to trade it later with each other. That's also on the roadmap. So that way they can actually tomorrow monetize this knowledge that they have. And then for others who are just looking to own a piece of their favorite team, or a merchandise created by their favorite streamer, that will also be available. So digital collectibles with long-term value, strong asset base with the right streamers and the right tournaments. These are just simple ways in which we allow super fans to get closer to their heroes, and also monetize the knowledge that they have versus just being passive viewers.
Yeah, that's amazing. Love that Locos is empowering these creators in a new way to help them monetize, their skills and their passion for gaming and esports. Is there anything else from our Avalanche team before I pass it along to Kyle for Q&As for the last 15 minutes?
I was just say the one thing that really excites me after working with the Loco team, and Anirudh touched on it, briefly, was really it's their connections and like ties into the native community, the native like influencer community there, and so I really think that for the success of any app is extremely important, because when you have the buy-in of your users and you have the trust of your users and you have exactly what the community wants, what they're feeling, you can really deliver amazing products, right? Because they're the ones that drive that journey. And so just knowing how kind of plugged in and tied in the Loco team is to that influencer group, to their native community, it just makes me so excited for the rollout of the product and just the overall user experience, because I know it's going to be so tailored to those end users, and it's going to be just a great experience.
Yeah, I think when you have the right, like I said, the right mix of community, content, and product and tech, I think we're going to have a great outcome. And I think we know that we already on the streaming side have all three. Now, when we transition to a place where blockchain becomes important, having the right partner there is extremely important. I think in Avalanche we can see that. I mean, we were joking with our team that if it's good enough for AWS, it's good enough for me. So, it's not surprising that they chose Avalanche, and we're seeing Tencent's partnering with Avalanche. So I think the gaming ecosystem is also coming around the ability and technical expertise that Avalanche has. And again, I can't stress enough. I know in the audience there are going to be other developers. It can be overwhelming when you're moving from Web 2 to Web 3. There's a lot of questions you have. They could be really what you consider dumb questions, or they could be something more at the cutting edge. And I think when the support that Dom and his team on the technical side have also provided, it's been unbelievable, and that gets me very excited that we have the right partnership in place, and to deliver a really, really smooth running product, which will be really easy to use. And we do the hard work in the back end, but for the users, it's just a fun game and a fun experience. And Local Legends is just the first thing. We're going to do many other things together, and I think the right building blocks are in place to deliver that.
Amazing. And I'm going to take that quote: if it's good enough for AWS, it's good enough for me. I'm going to use that in marketing moving forward. But I'm going to pass this now to Kyle, who's going to take over and do some Q&As for the last few minutes we have.
Yeah, so really great conversation, and thank you all for joining. So if anybody has a particular question regarding Loco or Local Legends or what's being built on Avalanche, please hit that mic button to request up to be a speaker. Of course, we want to honor our guests' time, so please keep all questions related to Loco and Avalanche partnership specifically. So we definitely want to make sure that there's a lot of other stuff going on out in the space, but we want to keep the conversation focused here today So yeah, request up to be a speaker, and definitely we'll take questions up from the audience here. So I'm going to add our good friend Little Vibe. I know he's going to come in here and make everybody's morning great. So you're up first, and then I'll add some more people up here.
Yo, what's good? What's good, family? It rugs a little bit whenever I first get brought up, but yeah, love this, man. Love this announcement, and this is freaking awesome. Shout out to Loco and Avalanche and everyone involved with it. Quick question: what's going to be the easiest way for us to get involved? Especially like if we're in the U.S. or outside of India, like what should we be doing, looking out for, or signing up for?
Hey, thanks again for the shout out and support. I think you can just sign up on our website right now, and then the whole product will be available first on the web and then on other apps, etc. after that very soon.
Awesome. Sounds great. Can't wait. And definitely we'll check it out. Let's go. Avalanche Loco. Let's get it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you coming through as always. Appreciate the support. And yeah, there's lots of information if you go to like the blog or any of the announcement materials. You can drop in and sign up there. Looks like we got Tokir. I'm adding you up here, but it looks like it's still connecting kind of slow. If anybody else got any questions, request up to be a speaker, we'll add you up, and we'll take any questions you have for the Ava Labs or Loco team. So yeah, request up to be a speaker. And as we kind of get forward, get going, yeah, there's definitely lots of great information out there regarding the partnership. You can drop into the thread that we have there, as well as a lot of the kind of press materials. So yeah, it looks like that's all on the questions we got for now. Oh, here we go. There's one more. I think we got it added back up. We're just waiting for him to connect here. All right. Looks like you got it connected there. Takir, you are up next on the questions.
Hey guys, hey, sorry. Hey Anirudh, how are you? So yeah,
What's up,
basically,
bro?
all good, bro, all good. So we've been working with Loco as well. Like we are from the same region, not only just India, but working together with them in MENA as well. Um, one of the um, uh, one of the basic things that I wanted to mention and state that it's not only basically usually when we look at the Indian market and the gaming industry, uh, the in the last 2 to 3 years we have seen 400 million active gamers in India, and we definitely see it growing even rapidly faster. And what I wanted to basically ask Avalanche team is how exactly is Avalanche facilitating the platform Loco by Legend, the Loco Legends, and how will it uh, how will it basically encourage? Uh, will it be able to basically handle, let's say tomorrow, having 50 million, 60 million users from like Loco itself? How will Avalanche be supporting those transactions, and will it be mainly the subnet, or you guys are uh, will there be an underlying token besides that?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there. So I think the first one is, how is Avalanche going to be able to handle the scale of so many users, right? I think that was kind of the first thing I heard. So Loco has its own designated subnet that users will be onboarded to play Loco Legends. If I can point you to some literature, maybe Kyle can put it up in the top there. We just launched Hyper SDK yesterday, which I believe did over 40,000 transactions per second. They were just single send and receive transactions, but they were transactions nonetheless. So we'll be able to, one, host the entire environment on a subnet, and two, we're working on ways to be able to handle that mass amount of scale. And the way subnets work is, right, if another entity like yourself or someone else wanted to enter, they could spin up their own subnet. With Avalanche Warp Messaging, these subnets could actually talk to each other, so you can run these environments separately while still being able to communicate. So we have, we kind of designed the system to be at internet scale, right? And so one thing I've heard several times when our engineers talk is it's very similar to like how Amazon was designed, right? Like you wouldn't put everything into one zone, right? You would spread those zones out. to locationally, regionally, however you were to design them. And so our architecture actually is the same here. So we're very well positioned and designed to be able to absorb internet scale. And so that's why we're so excited for the Loco subnet to come online, because I think it's going to be a great example of being able to see how our technology works at scale with so many users processing so many transactions. As for the token component, I'm not 100% sure on how Loco deployed their token. So maybe if they wanted to speak to that a little bit, I'm sure they could provide some more color there.
Perfect. Does the subnet ensure the EVM compatibility as well? Like if there is a separate subnet for Loco itself?
Yeah, so subnets are EVM compatible. Loco's subnet actually is an EVM, but it can be anything, right? A subnet can be anything. It doesn't have to just be an EVM. So we're finding new use cases, and we're positioned as well for what that looks like, right? Like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now, there might be different execution environments besides the EVM. So with a subnet, you can actually host any type of virtual machine you'd like. You don't have to. You're not just only allowed to do an EVM environment. So in their case, I believe that's the one they went with, and so that's what we deployed. But it could be anything.
Yeah, I think the way to think about, I think what I like the way we put the problem statement with the Ava team as well is, this is what we want to do. How do we get there? Versus saying, how do we make a technology popular? I think using technology for our end use case is more important than making a technology popular. I personally feel that's a better way of approaching the go-to-market, and that's why what Don is saying is perfect. There could be other use cases, and I think we have a lot of confidence in their ability to help us execute. Whatever use case we have right now for Legends, we have a limited use case, but there are other cases inside Loco as well, which we're thinking about. Which may have different technical solutions, and we will implement them with Avalanche at that point.
Perfect.
Oh, sounds like you got cut out there, but awesome. Yeah, thanks for the.
Oh, sorry, just was
go
saying
ahead.
thank you so much. Super excited for this one, and we have full faith in the Loco team, and thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for coming up, and really great questions. And we're really excited about how the network's going to be able to handle that scale. So we're going to take another question here. Sachin, you're up.
No, I don't have any question.
Oh, okay, great. Well, thanks for coming through, and thanks for the support. Anybody else have any questions for our guests here from Loco or from the Ava Labs team around the Loco build here? Come on up. And we'll just give it a second here. But yeah, once again, thank you. We got another one. Let's add this up. We got another question here from Kunal, just adding it up as a speaker. You're up. All right. Looks like you're up now. Go ahead, Kunal. Looks like you're still on mute there. Let's see if that works. If there's any other people that wanted to ask a question, come on up and see if we can get his working. I know we have a lot of speakers up here on the list, so. Kunal, if you can come off mute, you are up. All right, we can wait and see if it gets working. While we wait for that, just wanted to kick it over for any final thoughts from any members of the Ava Labs team before we wrap things up today. Tiff, if you want to share anything, or Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, just for the sake of posterity, Anirudh, if maybe we could run through like the key dates coming up and then where people can find out more information. I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah, I think that, look, we have a lot of the product is actually ready and ready to go. There are a few regulatory things that we're waiting on. And hopefully once those come through, we will launch pretty instantly after that. And putting a timeline on that right now is tricky because some of that depends on government regulations. But I'm hopeful in the next quarter everything will be out. And from our side, the preparation is 100%. We've all tested the product internally. Avalanche has tested it with us. We've tested it with lots of users. So I think now once the key regulations in India move, which we are expecting in the next quarter should happen, then we can actually release.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds like things are coming up quick. I'm really excited to see the build. Yeah, it looks like we don't have any other questions here. So anybody else from our team, any final closing thoughts there?
My final closing thoughts are, we've been working on this for so long. Anirudh, it's so exciting. I've been wanting to share this one for so long with our community, with everyone out there, because I know how important this is, not only for us but for you guys to bring this amazing new product to market. So I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited for the the regulatory clarity to come, and we get this thing launched and get all these users on chain and start to really have some amazing stories around the product and just gaming in general, bringing gaming content to Web3, amazing user experience that you guys are going to create. I've gotten a chance to play around with the product. It's awesome. So I'm just super excited, for the next few months, because I know how much more there is. This is, to me, it's like we're just kind of starting the race here. Even though we've been working together for some time, I feel like we're just now getting going. So I'm extremely excited for these next few months and all the product we're going to deliver and the user experiences that people are going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been looking forward to pushing this one out too. Tiff or Garrison, anything closing thoughts on your end?
I think that's all for me. But thank you, Anirudh, for always staying up late, joining this Twitter Spaces with us. Again, shout out to the team that I've been working so closely with. I'm excited to work more in the upcoming months.
Thank you guys so much. I think, like Dom said, we're just scratching the surface, and there's a lot we're going to go do together. And I think we'll look back at some of these things and really cherish the early days. So really, really excited, not only for this, the first release, but also the ones that will come after that. And I hope to set the tone for how, Web2 companies come into Web3, and also how companies can actually collaborate with each other for the benefit of fun experiences for users.
Amazing. Yes, really looking forward to it. Lots to come. This is just the beginning. Anirudh, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your partnership. To my team, thank you guys all for hopping on. Tiff, thanks for co-hosting and walking through. And yeah, we'll wrap things up here. Make sure you go to our announcements, go follow Loco, and go follow Loco Legends on Twitter and stay up to date with what's going on. And we will keep you updated on the next steps. So thank you all for joining, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See
Bye.
you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.